Did you know that you could fight the Diablo 2 Paladin spirit in Diablo 4? After he buried Mephisto's vessel from Diablo 2, Karthus locked himself in the Black Tomb to prevent anyone from coming in or hatred from seeping out.
Welcome, Wanderers, to the Masters of Sanctuary Clipcast. I'm your host, Cliptus. Today, we take a turn as we bring in not just an expert in Diablo 4, but a lore legend. Today, we will uncover the secrets of Diablo. So stay a while, my friends, and listen to the one and only LoatheBurger. Loathe, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Cliptus. Excited to be here. Thank you for having me, man.
I'm very excited about this one. This is going to take a little different turn than what we've normally done in the past. So before we jump into this, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. What kind of gaming do you do? And then what brought you to Diablo 4?
Oh, man. So I've honestly been a lifetime gamer. So my parents, they immigrated into the US when I was like 2 or 3. None of us spoke English. So they're like, hey, we need to figure this out. So why don't we give you an NES and, have that raise you? And I'm like, sweet. So I wasn't fluent in English, but I was like fluent in stomping Goombas in Super Mario 3. So it was
the universal language gaming.
exactly. And then when I got a Super NES, I got introduced to probably still one of my favorite games of all time, most likely due to nostalgia, but Secret of Mana. That is the first ever ARPG I played. And since then, that just really pulled me into the world of RPGs, diving into Final Fantasy at the time, Chrono Trigger, and getting that immersive like character depth and story-driven process. So that's how I really got into RPGs. And then when I was in high school, or not even high school, elementary school, I might be showing my age a little bit, but it's okay. When I was in elementary school, one of my friends, he would not stop talking about this computer game he played called Warcraft 2.
Okay.
And then finally I was like, all right. He lent me his copy, right? And then I installed it and I played it and I got hooked, man. Like hours upon hours as a kid, just hooked to Warcraft 2. And then I learned more about the company who made it, Blizzard. And at the time, my cousin bought Diablo. So I was at his place. This was like 96 or 97. And I played it and I was like, oh my God, this game is amazing. And since then, I've been a huge Blizzard fan. I played every StarCraft game. I played every Blizzard game. I was a World of Warcraft addict for many, many years.
Same.
Oh, you were too?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's honestly a lot of my PC gaming has been primarily on Battle.net.
That's awesome.
Ever since Warcraft 2, man, that's how I ended
That's
up.
what did it. That's what started it. That's
to this
awesome.
day in Vessel of Hatred. Yep.
What Final Fantasy game was your favorite? You mentioned Final Fantasy early on.
Oh yeah. Man, it's tough to choose, but I would say I have two off the top of my head.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 6 for SNES it was amazing. I love the characters. I love the villain. It's probably why I hate evil clowns and It from Kefka. That was my first exposure.
Okay.
So just the 3 different acts, I won't spoil for anyone who didn't play it, but it was so good and revolutionary. I mean, to me as like a 12-year-old at the time.
Right, of course.
It was something great. And then Final Fantasy X, just the entire world building. I think that was considered one of the first fully voiced RPGs to come out at the time on PlayStation 2, I believe. I love those two. And then Final Fantasy 14, the MMO. Oh my God, the storyline for that game, man, is unbelievable. Like it gave me like chills while going through it.
It is. Yeah, it is very, very immersive. I played a little bit of 14 also. Very, very immersive. This huge story.
Oh yeah. Did you beat the whole story?
I'm pretty sure that I made it all the way through because I did some raiding at the end. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Okay. So I did make it through most of it. I don't remember how long ago it was, and I'm sure they probably have added to it, but it was a while ago. So, but
it was a ride, wasn't it?
It was. It really was. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
So thank you. That's awesome. Huge Blizzard fan, lots of games, lots of World of Warcraft. Definitely did my share in my days, a lot of raiding. The intro to today's podcast was just a small bit of Diablo 4 lore. What got you into the lore behind the Diablo series?
Oh, so It's definitely goes all the way back to Diablo 1. So I grew up in a very religious and conservative household. And then I turn on Diablo 1 and I see a crow poking someone's eye out. You're going in the cathedral and you're seeing upside down crosses on fire and like dealing with demons. I was like, oh my God, I'm just this young religious boy. This is
That's
so
awesome.
blasphemous, but I couldn't pull myself away.
Yeah.
So back then, like when you got for the younger crew here, um when you bought a game, it came with like a very in-depth manual, not just of how the game played and the skills, but also in the story. And there's so much lore in the original Diablo 1 manual that I would literally like read it in the back of car rides and then just spill it out to my friend I remember in middle school, who's not a gamer, and he did not care at all. But I would talk his ear off about Diablo lore nonstop.
That's
And they
awesome.
were just, ever since then, I was just immersed in that world. And for those who don't know, Diablo 1 mentions all the primevals, a lot of the lesser evils. It talks about Inarius as well. He wasn't in the game, but he was in the lore. And back then, there was a lot of there was retconning there and things like that. But back then, the angels didn't look like they do now. They looked more like angels in like theology, like men with wings and things like that. And just a brief snippet about Anarias, he was considered to be an incredibly arrogant angel. And he wasn't part of the council. And he decided, you know what? I'm going to attack and beat Mephisto myself. So him and his followers attacked and beat, and well, did it. They attacked Mephisto. They failed. Mephisto captured him. He put him in this room, right? Surrounded with mirrors. And Inarius at the time was very full of himself. Like he thought he was the most beautiful thing in the universe.
Huh.
So what Mephisto did to punish him, he tore off his wings, he ripped
Oh,
off his eyelids, and chained him up so he can stare at himself in a room full of mirrors for all eternity.
wow, that is gruesome.
It is, man. So like 10-year-old me, I keep like jumping in ages. I'm saying like 10, 12, whatever, around that range,
Yep.
was like, what am I reading?
For
And
real. Yeah.
I couldn't stop, man. So yeah, ever since then, super excited Diablo 2, played that on release, probably lost a couple thousands of hours in the cow levels, you know.
Yes, of course.
And then man, yeah, Diablo 3 the same thing. And I mean, if I know you've been playing Diablo for a while too, like especially 3 and 4, they had their warts and all on release, but regardless, man, every season I was there, I just like
Yep.
lived and breathed the series, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I've had fun. I haven't had a season where I haven't had fun playing, so but I also just really enjoy the game. The story
Yeah.
in any other game, for the most part, not every single one of them. Some of them draw me in a little bit. Most games, I skip dialogue and I'll like skip cutscenes. Not everyone, but Diablo series, I
Kidding.
cannot skip one. I just get
Yeah.
drawn in. The animation is amazing. The storytelling is crazy.
Oh yeah.
So I haven't skipped a single cutscene in a Diablo game ever. It is very, very good.
It really is.
So from Diablo 1 to Diablo 4, do you have a favorite moment that stands out to you in this evolving history of Sanctuary, other than Anarius getting his eyelids ripped off?
Nice. That definitely drew me into the story, but
Mhm.
what kept blowing me away and coming back for more, I would say I have two in mind. One of them was at the end of Diablo 1, when the Wanderer, well, when the Aiden, the warrior, defeats Diablo. You're like, yes, I won. But then he sticks this thing in his head, and you're like, wait, what? What's going on? And then you find out that all your heroic acts, all the scares you had running away from the butcher, and if you were a warrior, you were chasing these like ranged monsters that would not stop running away from you until you cornered them. So all that work, and you turned into Diablo in Diablo 2 as the Dark Wanderer, that was amazing to me. And then also in Diablo 2, like your whole thing is you're chasing and trying to take down these primevals. And I love the whole thing with like Marius freeing Baal, and then you're chasing down Baal after you take down Mephisto, but you just don't catch up to him in time. And he succeeds with corrupting the World Stone and to the point that it needs to be destroyed. I thought that was so cool. it's like we won, but wait, did we?
Right.
So I really love those moments. I thought
It,
they were great narrative choices.
yeah, it's very cool. They give you a sense of like ups because you're winning and this fight is going in your favor because you're the hero. But
Yeah,
then they always have these moments where they just like rip it away from you.
exactly. And actually, on that, for Diablo 1, that final scene where you defeat Diablo and the warrior sticks the soul stone in his head, the original developers at Blizzard North, so that scene was actually developed by an outside firm.
Hmm.
And when they were developing the game, they got that scene. They're like, "What the hell? This isn't what we wanted to do." But
Wow.
then they just rolled with it, and
That,
so that
and
was
that
really
became
interesting.
a huge part of the lore then.
Yeah, yeah,
So then that unplanned scene became what launched Diablo 2 then in the
yeah,
Wanderer. So
yeah.
they just kind of
Plan,
continued that narrative.
yeah, plan failed successfully. It's awesome.
Yeah, that is very, very cool. I love that.
Yeah.
So if anyone out there wants to deep dive into the annals of Diablo lore, what
Mhm.
resources are out there and like where should they start looking?
So outside of the games themselves, if you really wanted to deep dive, I would say a great book to enter would be the Book of Cain. It's one
Okay.
of the lore books that are part of the Roderick Vault set, which has I think Book of Tyrael and Book of Adria and all that. But I would say Book of Cain because it breaks down a lot of major events that happened in Diablo lore that go back even further in time than the games themselves, as well as it explains to you who all the lords of hell are, talks about all the archangels, and it gives a lot of lore to get you to understand their choices and their motivations. So I think that's a really good starting place. And it also talks about important groups in Sanctuary, like the Herodrum, etc. So I think it's a great starting place.
No, that's cool. And these books are just out there available for anybody
Yes, yeah,
all over.
I got mine on Amazon,
Okay,
so it should be.
perfect.
And actually, one more thing too. A lot of people going to Diablo 4, they're like, "Hey, where's Diablo, etc. Like, who's this Lilith, etc." So, if you want more context on who Lilith and Inarius are, the Sin War trilogy by Richard A. Knack is a fantastic read because Inarius and Lilith are heavily featured in it, as well as Rothma and Rothma's great serpent Tragul, who's like the celestial guardian of Sanctuary. It's the first time in any Diablo game or piece of lore where he's actually fully involved and like talking to you and stuff. It's really interesting.
That is pretty cool. Did you want to give like a little snippet of what Anarius and Lilith play? What role they play in this?
Oh yeah, honestly, a lot of it parallels what's going on in Diablo 4.
Okay.
So, Lilith comes back from the void, just like in Diablo 4. Inarius is leading a Cathedral of Light to win influence over Sanctuary because Hell found out about Sanctuary and they created this temple called the Triune. And the Triune is guised to be this like holy angelic group, and there are three deities that they worshipped, and one of them I don't remember all their. I think it's like Mephis, Dialos, and I forgot which one, and Bala. Those were the three, but in reality they were the prime evils. So it was like hell in disguise running a church. Inarius knew about it, but back then, uh, Heaven didn't know about Sanctuary.
Oh,
So Inarius
interesting.
didn't report it to the heavens. So he started his Cathedral of Light and he disguised himself as a human. So
Hmm.
people didn't know he was an angel. So it talks about that battle between them, Lilith returnings and Heaven finding out about I don't know, there's a lot of really cool stuff.
That is very cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder, is there any, for people that really like visuals, is there anybody that has put together a videos of maybe just all of the clips as like a long movie sort of things for people to watch for the lore?
Hi, how's it going?
Okay, you did.
Nice to meet.
Amazing. All right.
So yeah, if I do have a YouTube channel that I do a lot of lore videos in, and for a lot of those tidbits I did mention, like I did a video about these are the archangels. This is what
Okay.
they look like. and then I include snippets of the different lore books since I have all of them. I was like, hey, let's take a picture and put it in this video.
Yeah.
So you can really get a good breakdown there.
Okay, awesome. So then we'll get everybody your YouTube channel at the very end of the videos or at the very end of the
Sounds.
podcast. So they
I
can
mean,
go.
I might be a little biased, but
No, that's fine. You took the time to
awesome.
go and do it and put it all together. It's very, very cool. And I did get to watch a couple of your videos. I saw you had your ranking video of
Oh yeah.
all of them. So
Oh, people love those.
yeah, so it's
And
very cool. So I would highly suggest stick around to the end of the podcast so you can get the YouTube channel because you should definitely go check it out. It is very cool to watch and learn a little bit more about the world of Diablo that we're all just kind of slaying demons in right now.
yeah, exactly. Cool.
All right, so this is a fun one here. Based on where the story is heading in Diablo 4, what are your predictions for the next class in the upcoming expansion pack?
Oh, you mean why I'm sure it's the Paladin?
That's what everybody wants to hear. But let's get a little bit more juice to this. Why
Oh
are you
yeah,
sure it's the Paladin?
there is a lot of juice to this, and I'll tell you why. So the Paladins have a long history with Mephisto specifically.
Okay.
So in Diablo 2, when we find Mephisto, we find him in the Travancore in Kurast, and you fight the High Council, which is now part of the Infernal Hordes, and you kill him in the Durns of Hate. So what people may not know is that before this High Council was corrupted, Travancore was actually the capital. It was like the Venice of the Zakarum faith, which is what the Paladins and the Crusaders are a part of. So Mephisto, his soul stone was entrusted by the Herodrum to the Zakarum, and it was held in the temple, the Durns of Hate. But Mephisto was able to corrupt the High Council and took the body of essentially the Pope of the Zakarum and corrupted it, so his vessel was essentially the Pope of the Zakarum.
That's very
The
funny.
Paladins were pissed about that, right? So what they did was after the events of Diablo 2, the canonical Paladin from Diablo 2 named Karthus, him and his posse of Paladins, they took the corpse of Mephisto's vessel. His name was Sankakur, easy names in Diablo
Of
lore.
course. Yeah, very easy.
And they buried him in the Black Tomb over in Hawazar, and we actually got to see that in the Infernal Hordes of Season 5, where Lokrin, the Triune guy, breaks open the tomb, and you go in it to find out it's like this massive thing with like random body parts of Sankakur, like you're finding his ears, his eyes, and stuff, so you can stop, hell from invading Sanctuary. And then each of those tidbits, wherever these parts are buried, you find a Paladin voiceover, like talking about why they buried there. So there's a lot of Paladin talk in Diablo 4. And not only that, there's actually a quest. You do find the Crusaders in Hawazar. They're like all beaten down, but they're there. And there's one quest where you actually get to meet and fight Karthus's spirit. And his corpse, like if you take a look at the picture of the Paladin from Diablo 2 Resurrected, the same armor and everything is lying down on the floor without a head. Like that is him.
Interesting. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's really cool. So like the tidbit at the beginning of the clip, when they buried Sankakur in the tomb, they were like, hey, this body is still seeping of Mephisto's hatred, and it could have influence for anyone who comes in touch with it. So they decided to lock themselves inside and keep vigil. So that's why, but then they all went mad. So that's why you have to fight his corrupted spirit to free him. But I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that there's that much Paladin significance related to Diablo and this lore that was created within Diablo 4 about Karthus and specifically his corrupted pope, burying the corrupted pope that Mephisto buried. Because what's happening now in Vessel of Hatred, right? At the twist.
Yeah.
There's some false messiah stuff going on, and the false messiah of who do we know? The Zakarum, who the Paladins are part of. So I mean, I'm just saying, man.
It is a very, very convincing argument.
Right.
That is, and there's a lot of detail. And they brought back the Kurast Bazaar. So Kurast is back.
It is
So
back.
maybe they needed to bring Kuras back to kind of wrap up their story. Now, I'm sure we're going to get a brand new zone in the new
Yes.
one,
Yes.
but I'm sure it's going to tie back into Kuras at some point since that seemed to be a pretty focal hub during
Yeah.
Diablo 2. So
Definitely could be.
that's very cool, very convincing. So for anybody out there that is waiting for the Paladin, you heard it here. There's a lot of lore leading up to this Paladin. It's going to
It's
be
gonna be the Demon Hunter. Sorry, guys.
oh god, could you imagine?
Uh,
Now I'm assuming even if it's not Paladin, something holy, something along those lines.
yeah, I mean, I feel like we are missing that archetype of like the holy heavy armor wielding dude because we only have one strength class right now from a more practical perspective. And you could say, oh, but we only have the druid's the only willpower, but druid's kind of like kind of master of none type thing. Like werewolf form is basically dexterity, rogue, like quick, fast gameplay. The werebear is basically like going around pulverizing is similar to like the tanky barbarian up close and personal. And then you have the earth and storm spells like the Sork, and then like your companions like a minion necromancer.
Right.
So I mean, I think it's if I'm looking at that roster, the one that really sticks out to me is that we only have one strength character.
Right. That makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. So
Yeah.
you get your Paladin in here next time, something holy, something that's going to be using a tanky armor, which I love builds like that. And I love characters with shield and a sword. And I main tanked
Oh,
in
it's
WoW
satisfying.
for so long.
Yeah, shield bash, man. Remember how
Yes,
satisfying that sound is?
it
Like,
was
boom.
it was so good. So
Yeah.
hopefully that we see something like that because I do think that that would be very, very cool.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Okay, so let's jump out of gaming for just a second.
Sure.
What are 3 fun facts that most people, even the ones that know you pretty well, might not
Mhm.
know? Let's get some fun ones in there.
All right. So, first off, if you cut me, I will bleed Japanese curry.
Okay.
I I love Japanese food, and
Me
you
too.
know, sushi's good. And I mean, you're in Hawaii, so I'm sure you get like some of the best seafood there and
Yeah.
omakases and all that. But that's probably my least favorite dish in Japanese culture. Like, I love their street food. I love their izakaya food, which is like, you go to the bars there and they have like the bar food, like the beef over rice and crack an egg on top of it, or their beef curry, man, is so good. And any of their curry dishes is so good with like the fried chicken, the karage. Oh my God.
That
I
sounds
love it.
amazing.
And the ramen, how can I forget ramen?
You
Love
can't.
that stuff.
Me
Yeah.
too. I eat ramen. Honestly, I'd probably say like once every 2 days. I
Oh my God.
absolutely love it.
Me too.
It's
If
so
you if
good.
you're if you're ever in New York, we're gonna get some ramen.
All right, that sounds good. Really fun fact. I'm actually from upstate New York.
Really? Oh
Absolutely.
wow.
Yep.
No
So,
way.
yep, small little town in upstate New York, but yeah. So I'll be back to New York at some point. My whole family's there, so
That's
we'll get
awesome.
some ramen.
It's a date. We got it.
All right. All right, so that's one. Let's hear 2 more.
Oh yeah, two more. My life is ruled by two giant fluffy monsters, my Samoyeds, Milo and Finn.
Milo and
S-
Finn.
Yeah. So I don't know why I decided to wear a black shirt because it's probably covered in white fur.
That's that's fair. I'm doing the exact same thing, and I have 3 dogs, and one of them is
Oh,
white.
you do?
Yeah,
Yeah, I love them so much, but they're a bundle of everything, a
I,
bundle of chaos.
I can
You,
imagine.
so when I think of what I'm excited for, when I think of like chaotic infernal hordes, I just look at my dogs and I'm like, huh, okay. It's gonna be an interesting season.
That's so good. That's so
Yeah.
funny. All
And then
right.
the third one, I'm gonna get a little bit more real here.
Okay.
So I'm like a content creator now, right? When
Mhm.
I was in high school and college, I had like rippling social anxiety,
Hmm.
like really bad, like to the point where you were talking about like rating on WoW, World of Warcraft and stuff.
Mhm.
I would be like so shy to speak up on voice chat and
Okay.
things like that.
Yeah,
But like now so I'm like completely on the other side of that, and it allows me to do stuff like this. So
that is
that's
very
a
cool.
little bit of, yeah, it's a bit of real world stuff for you right there.
Yeah. Do you think that your time in gaming has helped get you out of that?
I think so, honestly. Yeah, I think especially when I started doing more World of Warcraft, and I actually met a few people from that game too.
Nice.
And I was actually in the wedding party of one of my old guildmates from Vanilla WoW. So
That's
it
very
was
cool.
no, I think that definitely helped. And then of course when I got more into college and was because I grew up in like a town where there weren't many other nerds. So like
Okay.
um but then like when I got to college and computer engineer by trade, so I was like always surrounded by other nerds like me. I'm like, they're just like me. We exist. So that helped me a lot, kind of embrace my hobbies and passions and things like that.
That is very cool.
That definitely helped out. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about gaming with other people. Even just making
Yeah.
that jump to start, you can be very shy and you can say one or two words every now and then and hop in and slowly start to branch out. But the great thing about it is that most people, especially in this Diablo 4 community that I found, they're very welcoming. They're very
They really
understanding.
are. Yeah.
So it's a really, really great place to kind of make that leap. And then the game changes when you're playing with other people. It's so much different and it's so much more fun.
Oh, 100%. Like, and that's so funny that you mentioned that. So I've been playing Diablo 4 since beta, and I played every season, but up until season 8, I would mostly play, finish the season journey, break like pit 100 or so, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done. But that was primarily because I played by myself. Like when I first started playing the game, a lot of my friends and WoW guildies, etc., they expressed a lot of interest in Diablo 4. But then after the campaign, there were like some holes in the end game, etc., and they just never came back. But
Mhm.
I was still there, coming back every season, trying to convince them to come back.
Yep.
And I got so excited about. I might be jumping here, but I got so excited about the changes coming in season 4 that I decided to become a content creator about it.
That's very cool. So that's what started
Yeah.
that started it.
That's what started it, man.
That is
Yeah.
awesome. The origin story.
That's the origin story right
V-
there.
Very cool.
Hmm.
So going back to your first swing into, and we can even talk about any Diablo, but what is your favorite class? Let's talk about Diablo 4. What's your favorite class in Diablo 4?
So I would say I played Necromancer for the most seasons.
Okay.
But I ended up getting to the point where I was always intrigued with the new seasons having uniques coming out that completely change how certain spells worked. Like, I think it started for me in season 4 when I think the name was was it the fractured kaleidoscope? The
Fractured Winter
froze
Glass?
fractured winter glass. I knew it
Yeah.
was fractured something.
Yeah.
Yes, fractured glass type thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the Sork, and I was like, oh man, I actually wasn't huge on playing the Sork. I tried it a bit, it wasn't my style. I was like, that's not a necromancer, you know? Where
Right.
where
Yeah.
where's the blood and bone, you know? But then I was like, Frozen Orb is back. I love Frozen Orb in Diablo 2. And that like made it more viable for me. Although I think Lightning Spear overtook by the meta, but I was like, I don't
Yeah.
care. I'm gonna do Frozen Orb. This is really fun for me. So since then I started dabbling with a lot of different classes each season, particularly like if I see like one of those live streams or the patch notes and I see uniques like interacting in really cool ways with skills for whichever class it is, I was like, oh, I really want to try that out. That sounds interesting.
Well, that's very cool. So you have now kind of branched out to just whatever the game throws at you.
Exactly. Like one thing I did create a rogue this season. I do main a Spiritborn, and I have a sort to like just speed farming resources and uh pit experiences like pit
Yeah.
80s and things like that to level Paragon. But I do want to do a rogue and try out that new item which makes the flurries almost kill you. It
Yeah,
sounds
that's pretty
interesting
funny.
to me.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very interesting.
I was like, oh, I want to play around with that.
Yeah, even if it's not strong, but it's still fun to play. Those I love
Yeah.
doing that. And
Yeah, exactly.
along those lines right there, do you
Hmm.
theory craft the builds for yourself? And what kind of builds do you enjoy? Like metaverse, off meta, fast, hit hard hitting, which ones?
Yeah, so when I started, I like two different ones. I like the fast ones, and I really do like anything with dots.
Okay.
So like when I first started, when I first started Diablo 4, so pre-season 1, I did the whole thing with a necromancer, and I was doing a shadow minion necromancer. And so I really like decompose and like my corpse explosions doing AoE damage, just seeing them like slowly melt. Like I just
Yeah,
imagine then like their skin like toxifying and like melting into the ground. And I'm like, that's right.
that's how it
Necro.
works. Yep,
Exactly.
that is a great visual.
So but yeah, I loved tinkering with my spells, the passives, and like the keyword searches made it really easy for me to like hammer in like, oh, it's like, oh no, my build, like I'm too squishy. Then it's like which are the defensives that are able to help out, or like which curses can I switch to and what aspects are available. And then with the Paragon boards, I always would look at the glyphs I got and then the different boards. I'm like, okay, I'm using Shadow, I'm using Golem, maybe I go with the Golem board, etc.
Right.
Play around with that. I would say nowadays though, especially when I started content creation, just like that and juggling the full time and stuff, I've been I have to admit I've been using some builds like to build
That's okay.
to go off a template, but then from there I love tinkering around with the Paragon board specifically to better fit my needs.
Nice. I don't see anything wrong with checking out people's builds and using those as guides. And there's the fun thing about this game, and a lot of people don't realize, is that all of the builds will end up very similar. So a whirlwind build is going to be pretty
Yeah,
similar to every other whirlwind build. But what's really
that's
fun
true.
is when the community comes together to get out all this information on how the best ways to build different builds. And then they all come together because not one person can theory craft everything. That's
No.
impossible.
Yeah.
So with the community working together to make these awesome builds, that just makes builds for everybody to use that are very fun. So I don't think there's anything wrong with going out there and checking out people's builds and seeing what people are doing. I think it
Yeah.
just kind of brings everybody a lot closer together.
Absolutely. And I think also like if you're just completely focused on your build, you might get hyper fixated on what you're doing and then not be able to see the other perspective. And then you get like a eureka moment from seeing what someone else is like, oh, that's actually really smart. I'm actually surprised I missed that, you know?
Yeah, it happens. It happens
Yeah.
to me all the time.
Yeah.
I
So it's
really great example of that. Last season, I didn't get to play much of the PTR, so I didn't really get to try much. Last
mhm,
season, the Whirlwind Summoner Barb was the meta for barbarians,
mhm.
and I was inside one of the pit runs, and I forgot to put on one of the most important things for my Earthquake build, which was the Tech Rune.
Oh
But
no.
I ran into the pits, and everything was
Yeah.
dying so fast. And
Mhm.
when I got out, I realized I didn't have it on, but all of my damage was still there. Monsters were dying still super fast. And I was like, what the heck happened? I was like, but this all from the ancients only? And I had this light bulb moment for myself, right?
Mhm.
That,
Yeah.
oh my God, these ancients do a whole bunch of damage. So then I started like building around these ancients, and then I looked and everybody was doing it already. And if I had
Wow.
just like branched out outside of my bubble and like
Yeah.
looked around in the community and see these awesome builds, everybody
Mhm.
had already figured out that the ancients were really strong and that they were
Yeah.
doing a lot of damage. So that's a very good point. Like, don't get stuck in your bubble.
Exactly.
Get
Oh, and
out
that
there.
was so much fun though. That's what I played last season. I mained a barbarian.
Mhm.
And I missed the walking death beam, man. It was so much fun.
Oh, amazing. Last
So
season,
much fun.
we put together, and I do get to work with one of the people that's been in my stream for a very long time now. And
Mhm.
he loves to test barbarian builds with me, and we bounce ideas back and forth off each other. And he made a 2-button build.
Yeah.
It was Whirlwind and Rallying Cry, and we called
Uh-huh.
it the Lighthouse build because
The lighthouse build.
all you had to do was spin, and you had the
Mhm.
chest beam out there, and it was just
Yeah.
this rotating light beam.
That's
It
awesome.
was a lot of fun. It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
It was. That's what I did. I did like an earthquake build with the with whirlwind, and you have you just had that beam circling around.
Yeah,
It was a lot of fun.
it's
Yeah.
so
And then
good.
I think afterwards like the meta shifted to using a lot of rupture, right?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Yeah. I think that's what I ended up switching to keep pushing the rifts.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Yeah.
So, 2026 cannot come fast enough. With the
hmm
expansion announced for next year, what are you hoping for? Do you have a top 3 wish list?
Yeah, I guess it's a bit dependent on what we see. I definitely do. I am excited about what the new class is. So if it is Paladin, which it is, just saying,
Right. Yep. Yep. We covered that
based on
one.
the lore and all that, yeah.
Yep. It's coming.
I'd be I'd be really excited to play that. Like in most games that I do play, except for WoW, surprisingly, I've always loved the Paladin archetype.
Hmm.
Diablo 2, loved playing like a Zealadin. It was so much fun to
Mhm.
me. And then when I tried Last Epoch, it's beta last year. I played a Paladin there. When I played what else? Diablo, yeah, I said Diablo 2. And when I played Final Fantasy 14, my main was a Paladin for like
Nice.
years and years.
Nice.
And Baldur's Gate 3. So like I'd
Okay.
I'd be really into a Paladin if it came out. But beyond that, I want a really good story. Like they had such a cool twist and a really great setup, especially if you do take a look at some of the lore pieces that came out after Vessel of Hatred.
Okay.
So during Free Comic Book Day, I'm trying to remember if it was April or May. There was a preview free comic released of an upcoming comic series called Dawn of Hatred, and it outlines what Mephisto was up to following the events of Vessel of Hatred, and it's really cool. So like the buildup is just so good, and I really want it to pay off. I'm excited, and then I'm hoping, like I was mentioning before, like those big moments in Diablo lore that spoke up to me. I want to see one of those like we won, but wait, what just happened?
Got it. Yes.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But beyond that, depending on the new zone, like we do end up going to the Western continent and going to Honduras and all that. I would really love if they expanded the idea of the spirit realm that we
Mhm.
saw in Vessel of Hatred. In like we saw the spirit realm that was parallel to Nahantu. Like if we saw it in Honduras and we got to interact with like some old favorites like Deckard Cain, maybe, that would
Yeah.
be really cool. I would love that. I also would love to see like more progressive difficulty systems.
Okay.
Like I love pit pushing. I feel like that's the only progressive difficult system in the game. Like I think every class can make a build that's going to decimate anything in Torment 4,
Yeah.
right? But then when you're starting to push rifts, just min-maxing what you can do with your class and comparing on like the Hell Tides leaderboard and stuff, it's so much fun for me, man. Like
Yeah.
I used to competitively push rifts in Diablo 3. I think one season I pushed my hardcore demon hunter to like top 10 on the leaderboards or something. It
Wow.
was so it's a lot of fun for me. I love it, but I would love more variety like that. So, and one system I was thinking is like, oh man, like the Arcane Sanctuary was so cool, and that's in the Western continent.
Yeah.
If we saw that, and like because it's like in an astral plane, you could like create some sort of mapping system or something like that in it. That would be really cool. But anyway, that's some sort of progressive difficulty system would be awesome, I
The
would say.
Arcane Sanctuary would be cool. I've loved that. That
Yeah,
was that was a very cool map.
yeah, it
Okay,
was so
so
unexpected.
in season 5, when the Infernal Hordes launched, and we've mentioned the Infernal Hordes a couple times, that was actually the only instance where we were able to create, actually, I should say the last instance where we were able to create two different types of builds. Can this build push tier 8 of the Infernal Hordes? Because it had tiers then, or can this build push the pits? Because
Right.
they were very different in that sense. So that was very cool, where you could create two different variants of your endgame builds.
Mhm.
So with season 10 coming up, and they already announced that they'll be updating the Infernal Hordes, hopefully we get something like that again, because that would be very
Yeah,
cool. That would be very
I
cool.
agree. 100% I agree. And I hope so. Like when you think about the lore of the Infernal Hordes, like it happened back in season 5, and the story around that was that hey, like Mephisto's soul is now on Sanctuary, and he's getting stronger and stronger. So the veil is weakening between his realm of hatred and Sanctuary, and that's why you're going into hell to fight off his horde, right?
Yep.
But then now that he's fully awakened, the veil is getting even worse. So craziness is, it's getting more chaotic. That's the word. So
Yep.
I'm hoping we're going to get more intensity. And I was mentioning like I want more progressively difficult systems. So I think if they do bring back something like that, like up to tier 8, it just gets harder and harder and harder, and you have to customize your build specifically for that. I would really love to see that.
Yeah, that would be very cool.
So I'm excited.
So back to season 4 for you. That's when you started your content creation journey. What
Yes.
has been your favorite part about making content for Diablo 4?
So two things. I only started streaming recently. Like I started streaming on and off in April, but consistently since May. But I've been making YouTube videos for a little bit more than a year now. And what I loved about making the YouTube videos, and I'm sure, you being both a streamer and a YouTuber, you know how long it takes to edit those
Yeah,
videos.
it
Like
does.
it's for some of mine, honestly, it could take the entire like the recording, the cleaning up the A-roll, the production piece of it. It can lead up to like an hour of playtime in the end, like an hour a minute of playtime for the video. So like
Hmm.
10-minute video, that took me 10 hours to put together. So it's very labor intensive. But man, I'm telling you, like when I started making those videos, I finally felt like this is my passion.
Yeah.
Like I'm willing. Like I have a full time job. I have two dogs. I have a girlfriend, etc. But I was like, man, I can put like 20 to 40 hours a week on top of what I'm already doing to push these out because it's so much fun and I love it. I'm just so passionate about it. I don't
Yep.
get bored. And
Yeah.
then like, you know what? I'm sure you've encountered this too. Maybe you're recording the video in A-roll, like you're a talking head piece, and you're like, oh my God, this is over an hour long. This is going to take me like 30 hours to edit. But you do it anyway because you
Hmm.
love it, you know?
Yeah.
It's oh man, I feel like it reignited the passion for me. And then two, when I started streaming in season 8, that's when I started.
Oh, nice.
Once I started interacting with the community and seeing how great the community is, and that deepened my passion for the game. I said previously that I played since beta, but I would primarily play the seasons through the season journeys and then stop. But because like I have this stream and I'm talking to my viewers who are also super passionate about the game, it reignited the passion for me. And now I'm almost like to Paragon 300, putting so many more hours in the season, and I'm not even close to getting bored, man.
Yeah.
Like when I hit 300, or when I've been pushing my Spiritborn, I got to 122 pit, and I'm trying to get to. I want to do 130, by the end, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like, man, I really want to play that rogue. I want to play that barbarian. So I don't see myself getting bored, prior to season 10. So yeah, that's what it's done for me. One, reignited or I found my passion, and then two, just getting in touch with the community has really reignited my passion for the actual game.
Yeah. That is awesome. We have an amazing community just in Diablo 4 itself. And I get the opportunity to interact with a lot of people and also a lot of new people because that's what I gear my stuff towards.
Hmm.
So convincing people to come in and start playing with other people, it extends people's season by so much. And people don't realize that until they make that
Yeah.
jump. It's
Hmm.
very cool to see. I get people that have tell me constantly, I never play this long. I'm normally quit by now, but I'm having so much fun because everybody has been so awesome. I'm having a blast playing with people. And now everybody that helped me, I've now turned around. I'm start helping them. And that gives me something else to do because I'm super excited to
Hmm.
get them into the game. And it is just this really cool cycle that a lot of people miss out on by not making that jump into playing with people. And for some people, that's just not the thing. But it
Yeah.
really does change around the way that the game works and the game feels.
100%. And I feel like Diablo 4, especially because of its open world nature, it makes it so much easier to get people in and out of groups. And especially as like a content creator, like if I wanted to play with my community, I can easily get people in, get people out, help them out, etc. It's just great, man. I made so many friends.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I get to meet other creators like you. Like I was in my own YouTube bubble, not really talking to anyone outside of that bubble, but now I'm like, I'm on this podcast. That's an example of it.
Yeah.
And
It's
everyone's been
very cool.
so cool. Everyone's been so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely is amazing. So it's a really, really great community. But that is all I got for you today. Thank you so much for all that you do for the Diablo community. Before we go
Absolutely.
anywhere, spell out for everybody where they can find you in this gigantic world of content creation.
Oh, absolutely. So my two main platforms are my YouTube at LoatheBurger. So just like my handle is spelled, and then on Twitch as well, also at LoatheBurger. And we're always helping out new players. Community is very helpful, giving power levels, speed rushing, helping you figure out your builds and all that. So be sure to come say hello and ask me any lore related question, I'll debate you to the end.
That is amazing.
Paladin, just kidding.
That's a Paladin's coming. You guys heard it right here. Well, thank you so much for doing this with me. Everybody that is listening, make sure you go check out Loathe. I will catch you all on the next episode of the Masters of Sanctuary podcast.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Cliff.